So 1984, I'm at Logan College of Chiropractic. And I think it was my 5th trimester then. It takes like 10 trimesters to complete a program, a 5-year program. And the Olympic Games were about to happen the summer of 84 in LA. I tested out of some classes and I made sure that I stayed in contact with my professors where I can do work, submit it. And I went out to LA for 3 weeks. Cindy was still out there and Sheldon. We lived at my sister's place. So I didn't have to stay in the village. I had a room in the village, but I stayed at my sister's house. And my event is the marathon. 26.2 miles of running through the streets of Los Angeles. A smog clouded city. And it was something else. It was quite an experience. The most difficult thing that happened to me in the village when I was there was that I developed an abscessed tooth. And one morning I woke up, I saw my face. This is like 1 week into my stay. My face is swollen. So in the Olympic Village, all healthcare is taken care of. All the food is taken care of. And the Games of 84 was the first game that turned a profit. Peter Uberoth was the director of the game, so he solicited help from major corporations who get a chance to advertise what they produce and stuff like that, and in return, they offered big bucks. And then we had all these first-class chefs who had a chance to come to the village and cook for these athletes. So we had chefs from Louisiana, man. Look, I'm talking about some incredible food. And here I am in the Olympic Village, getting ready to run the marathon. I couldn't eat. So I went to the dentist. You have doctors who donated the time to take care of the athletes who were not well. And by then I'm dropping weight rapidly. I said, I can't run a marathon, dropping all this weight, man. So I asked the doctor, I said, what's going to happen? He said, well, we have to do a root canal for you. I said, no. He said, yeah, if you want to improve. So I said, okay, I'll submit to a root canal. So he did it. And I got my antibiotics and stuff. The swelling went away. I was still running, not running as hard as I could have. I was still running, but I recovered to the point where I could run the marathon. On race day, I had agreed to meet Cindy and Sheldon. Sheldon was 3 years old at mile 20, so I can get kind of emotional boost just seeing my true love and my son. Before then, I had issues with shoes, trying to find a perfect shoe for the race, and I couldn't. I had some arch problems. So what I did, I taped up my arches to support them, arches of my feet. The race started, and both my feet were hurting like hell. I said, I can't run. So it must be the shoes I got on. So I took my shoes off at the 2nd mile of the race. By then, I just sat down and took my shoes off. By then, all my competitors are long gone. And I'm still struggling with this pair of shoes. Took them off. I'm the last person in the race running. And the crowd on either side of the road is like 10 deep, watching this athlete struggle. So I took the shoes off and the pain didn't go away in my feet. I said, it's gotta be something else. I kept on running. And then I figured it out. I said, it's the tape. It's the tape I had on my arches. It was taped too tight. There's an ambulance behind me. I signaled to the ambulance. They drove up. I stopped. I said, you got a pair of scissors? The guy said, scissors? I said, yeah. He said, what do you want the scissors for? I said, I need to cut the tape off my feet. And they fished out the scissors for me. I sat down in the middle of the road. I cut the tape away from my feet. I still have tape on my 2 big toes, but on my arches, I cut it off. And the pain went away instantly. And like I said before, by then, I couldn't see anybody. But then I was well trained for the race, even though I'm way behind. Last person in the race, I kept on running with no shoes. I said to myself, I have 24 miles to go without shoes. I hope I can make it, right? But then we grew up in Trinidad, you know, you grow up barefoot, run around barefoot, your feet are kind of tough, but not tough enough for this kind of thing. And most of the roadway is made of concrete and a yellow line down the middle. If you know what this concrete is not smooth because it's created rough, so the car's gonna have traction on it. Little spicules in the concrete, and they beat my feet up. After a while, I started looking for the yellow line to run on the paint because it wasn't that painful. I said, man, can I really do this? And the people on either side of the road, I mean, their encouragement was deafening, motivating me and encouraged me to continue. At mile 17, I started seeing some competitors. I said, yes, I can do this. I started passing people at mile 17. I got to mile 20 looking for my wife and my son, and I didn't see them. And I was crestfallen because I'm like, I just wanted to see somebody I know and I love. And there were a few students who skipped school just to come out there to LA Olympic Games to see me run. I got to mile 22, I saw Cindy and Shellen and my classmates. And I stopped to get a hug from my wife. And in an international competition like that, the spectators cannot engage with the athletes. Police officers surrounding you. You have protection every step of the way, right? And Cindy came up to me and hugged Cindy, and police officers grabbed Cindy. Miss, you know you can't touch the athlete. She said, this is my husband. I said, sir, this is my wife. This is my son. These are my friends. I got a hug from everybody, all my competitors. I mean my wife and my family. And I felt motivated then. I said, I got 4 miles to go. I'm still passing people now. I got to mile 25 with 1.2 miles to go. And I saw a man named Dieudonné Lamont from Haiti. I reckon in 1979, I competed against him in St. Kitts, half marathon there. And he beat the pants off of me. He won the race, I finished third. Another guy from the States finished second. And I said, I can catch Lamont because he's slowing. And I ran him down, I caught him and passed him with about half a mile to go. And I came into the stadium in LA because the marathon back then was always the last event before closing ceremonies. And I got there, came through the tunnel into the stadium, the light, and everybody in the stadium were on their feet. Everybody was on their feet, just cheering me. It was so thunderous. I think I ran that last lap around the track. I didn't feel it. It's like I was floating on all this energy that the crowd was producing, and they were yelling, Bikila, Bikila, because I think it was 1960 and 1964, Bikila ran without shoes. Abi Bikila from Ethiopia. So this was a reminiscent of that. And it moved me like I can't imagine. I finished the race, and by then my entire body was in such pain with the pounding of running without shoes. I'm talking about not just jogging, I'm talking about running. I had a lot of time to make up. I was still able to pass people and finish the race in the stadium. It was a difficult thing to accomplish, but still I think one of my best Olympic efforts because of issues with my health, the abscess tooth and issues with the shoes. But I wanted to finish because the main thing is that I said I know I wasn't going to win a medal. The time I started training for distance running, most people had started maybe 10 years before me training. But I know I could make an impression, represent the place where I live, the US Virgin Islands, and also to leave a lasting legacy for my children. It was like setting the bar, letting them know that impossible is nothing. Most people say, you know, nothing's impossible. We say impossible is nothing. You can make it happen, whatever. Once you have a goal and a commitment to excellence. So finished the race. The next day I flew back to St. Louis, Missouri to go back to classes the next day. The very next day I was in school. So I stayed at Logan College of Chiropractic, finished up my education there. And I got a job after school working for a doctor in New Orleans, Louisiana. Spent 2 years there. That's where Jay was born. But even while there, I was also preparing for the 88 Olympic Games. The 88 Games was held in Seoul, Korea. The summer of Seoul of 88. I just opened up my practice here in St. Croix. I was to leave my practice and to go to compete. I was driven to do it. Because most people open up a new business and won't leave it for 3 weeks to go to the other end of the world, halfway around the world to run a race. So I did a marathon there. In 1992, I did the marathon, well, not the marathon, I did the 10,000 meters and the 5,000 meters. I double up on events on the track in Barcelona, Spain. And in 1996, I was like 1 week shy of my 40th birthday. I did a marathon again in Atlanta, the Olympic Games. And one of the things that moved me then was that before the race started, I look at my competitors. I say, hey, I'm almost 40 years old. And I see people like 20, 22, 24, 30. I feel like a grandpa among them. But it was my last stand. And my family came out as well. Cindy was there. Shell and Jay met me in the stadium as I finished the race. My good friend Will Schlintzog, he flew out from San Diego, California, just to come hang with me. He was there in LA in 84. And he said, yeah, I'm coming back to see you on your last Olympic marathon. So the Olympic events were very significant in my career, in my life. It was living a life of excellence, a life of dedication, knowing that I know that a whole bunch of people aspired to Olympism or tried to make a team for their country and never really made it. And I had a chance to do that on a world stage, international stage, 4 times. 4 times. Again, the dedication that goes into it, man, it's almost like you have to give up a certain part of your life to make things happen. Early to bed, early rising, the gym, back on the track, hill training, taking care of the aches and pains, the times you do it to extreme where you hurt yourself. But in the back of my mind, I knew I can do this. And I wanted my children, I know my grandchildren know that my kids, my sons say, my dad is an Olympian. My grandchildren like, yeah, grandpa is an Olympian. Because once you're an Olympian for life. It's not like I was an Olympian, no. On any given moment, there are about 100,000 living Olympians. The planet has about 8 billion people. So just a very select few aspire to that level of competition on the world stage. And just do it. Along with my Olympic career, I also competed on our cross-country team, the national cross-country team for the U.S. Virgin Islands. So cross-country championships in different parts of the world, marathons in different parts of the world, 10K races. I've seen the world in that regard. And then when I retired from Olympic competition, I couldn't do it. The reason I had to retire is because growing older, my body couldn't handle the level of stress as I grew older, the way it handled it when I was younger. So I knew it was time to step away from it. It was very, very hard to do. Going from being a purpose-driven international athlete to pulling back to normalcy. It took me years to get to that point. I used to go down to Haypenny Beach, mile of sand. I'll spend an hour, 2-3 hours just walking back and forth in the sand to turn the beast off. That competitive animal, I had to turn it off. If I didn't, I knew it would have destroyed me. And then in 1997, I figured if I can do a marathon, I can also do an ultra marathon. So in 1997, I trained right here in St. Croix. I trained to do an ultra marathon in Durban, South Africa. A race that's 54 miles long. Yeah, 54 miles. To train for it, I used to get up here on a Sunday morning and do 6 laps around the airport. That's like 42 point something miles. I'll run from 2:30 in the morning till like 2:30 until like 7:30. 5 hours of running. Every time I finish the loop, every time I come around, I'll have Gatorade or water, banana to keep my energy up. Just train for it. But that, on race day, that was a hard thing. 54 miles of just purposeful running. So I ran. And now, I am content to jog. I'm content to walk and literally stop and smell the roses. I do that. I stop and smell roses now. I'm glad that phase of my life is over because I know I couldn't keep it up forever. So cutting back from that intensity to where I am right now, it's just pure joy. I'm out there every day now, about 3 times a week. I take pictures of sunsets, sunrises, flowers, landscapes, animals I see, and I post them, I share them to people on Facebook and other mediums because I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't have the wherewithal to get outside. There are people in beds, hospital beds, or shut in at home, cannot see outdoors. So I post pictures of outdoors and share with people so it can help lift their spirits. Running has been quite a journey, literally. And I don't regret it. There are some who thought that at age 66, like right now, my knees will be shot. I would have had to have knee surgery and knee replacement. My knees are fine. They're fine because as a chiropractor, body mechanics specialist, I learned how to use my body without damaging it. So I've built the muscles around my knee joint to the point where they can handle all the stresses of running. So I will not have to have a knee replacement. I'm doing a whole lot better than people who had to have it because of poor use of their joints.